We're very excited about the release of the movie. The movie's going to come out probably in October. And George Colbert found the story, and he's the main writer, wrote the script. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited for people to see it because it's educationally with many different generations. There's many different people that are going to be interested in seeing the true story. It's very rare that you find a story that has never been told. And this is the case with this. It's a great story about justice, which we know, um, is important to everybody. It's a universal quest. Personal justice, justice in a court of law. And there's a big twist at the end of this movie because it also is about karmic justice.
The Ms. Texas Show is a voice of hope for victims, survivors, advocates, and community leaders against gender-based violence to share their stories and resources. We began showcasing life in Texas. Today we are impacting lives not only in Texas, but also around the world. Under our segment Military Time, we run this segment in partnership with the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. We invite military and veterans who have overcome traumatic events to share their experiences during and after their military service. Under our beauty segment, we invite fellow pageant winners and contestants, artists, musicians, actors, models, and dancers, and last but not least, our survivor leaders from family violence, sex trafficking, sexual assault, stalking, and other traumatic events who are ambassadors for these causes to share their lives and the impact they have made. To become a guest on our show, email us at MsUSATexas@gmail.com. If you would like to support victims and survivors of gender-based violence, make a tax-deductible donation to Hope Pyx Global at www.hopepyxglobal.org.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the MsTexasShow. And today we are very excited to have our movie star here. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the movie that has just won the prize. And we have Miss Michelle Danner here. And she has a very long bio. So I'm just going to read a little bit and have her tell you the story. So here's a little bit about Michelle. Michelle, with the craft of acting, is as alluring as it is mysterious, and it takes a being of great passion, insight, and determination in order to succeed. But to teach acting, to inspire creative souls to successfully harvest those tools requires an even greater commitment to bring out the best in each and every actor in one encounters. And that passion and commitment are the hallmarks of the career of filmmaker, acting coach, and performer Michelle Danner. For decades, one of industry's most respectful and successful teachers, and now a successful director who continues to grow and expand her creative universe, hoping to set an example for her students and peers. Michelle says the important thing is to keep growing as an artist, to keep raising the bar for yourself. In order to be passionate, you have to keep expanding. You have to keep growing. You have to keep pushing yourself. And for Danner in 2022, that meant anticipating the release of her feature, The Runner, and wrapping production on courtroom drama Miranda's Victim, which we will talk about today. And that is in addition to running her weekly acting class, keeping watching over the conservatory programs at the LA Acting Conservatory, which she founded, and prepping a new one-person play at the Creative Center for the Arts, or cheering on her two sons as they pursue their own passions. And the list goes on and on with her all the achievement. And welcome, Michelle. Thank you for being our guest today. I know you have a busy schedule, so tell us more about. I know I didn't get a chance to read all the long list of achievements. Tell us about yourself and what you have done.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. And yes, I'm very passionate about storytelling, whether it be on stage and in the movies. And I have been very fortunate to be able to direct some wonderful features. The last one being Miranda's Victim, which is about the brave journey of a woman in 1963 who went after her assailant in a court of law, and from then spun the Miranda rights, what we know as the Miranda rights, which I had never questioned before. Where did that came from? And this movie, tells the story, her story, the unique story of what happened. So I'm very grateful to have been able to tell a story that is quite unique, about something that has affected, our civil liberties and how people have gotten arrested, since 1965, as the Miranda ruling, the Miranda rights came about. So anyway, I was lucky enough to have a great cast. Abigail Breslin plays Patricia Weir, Donald Sutherland, Kyle MacLachlan, Andy Garcia, and the list goes on and on and on and on. Mireille Nuss, just a great cast of actors: Enrique Murciano, Brent Sexton, Taryn Manning, Nolan Gold, Ryan Felipe, Luke Wilson. I mean, I couldn't believe that I got this cast.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for, the introduction, and we'll talk more about the Miranda's Victim in a little bit. And you have done so much, like you are teaching, you are like producing, and your passion. How did you go about? How did you start your career? What made you decide you want to get into this industry?
Well, I was always attracted by literature and the arts and theater and movies at a very, very young age. I would read everything I could get a hold of. I would watch so much content. And at the time, we had less content than we have now, today. I was also the daughter, I am the daughter of the president of, he opened the William Morris Agency, my dad, in 1967. Oh my God, sorry, that was actually 1965. And so I grew up in a world of showbiz. And I always became passionate about that. We moved to New York. I continued my love of the arts, took many classes, kept growing. And one step led to another. My love of acting, my love of literature became a passion for directing. And this is where I'm at today.
This is amazing. You mentioned about Miranda's Victim, and I'm gonna read a little bit about the intro and let you tell us more about it. Because as you said, I didn't even know, like we all know about Miranda's rights, but we didn't really know about the story. And thank you for being the voice and to really tell the story about the abuse and the victimization. Miranda's Victim is actually a winner of the recent Houston's Word Fest. And congratulations, Michelle, that it won the Grand Remy Prize for Best Feature, and it's well deserved. It is the story of an 18-year-old Trish Wire, who I'm not sure if I pronounced the name correctly, who was kidnapped. Thank you. Who was kidnapped and brutally raped by Ernesto Miranda, and her commitment to putting
Yes.
assailant behind the bars. And Trish's life was destroyed by America's legal system as she triggered a new law, Miranda's rights, that transforms the nation. And Abigail Breslin, Ryan Phillip, Luke Wilson, Donna Sutherland, Mirel Enos, Andy Garcia, Emily Venkat, and more also star. So this is just a short description of the movie. And can you tell us, our audience, more about the movie and where can they find the movie and more of the I want to say the good things, but it tells this story. I think it's really important to tell the story. So tell us more about the movie.
Well, the movie is doing the festival circuit right now. And we're going to be in several festivals internationally in Madrid, in Ischia. Domestically, we're going to be, well, there's a few I can't announce yet because they haven't been announced. But we're very excited about the release of the movie. The movie's going to come out probably in October. And George Colbert found the story, and he's the main writer, wrote the script. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited for people to see it because it's educationally with many different generations. There's many different people that are going to be interested in seeing the true story. It's very rare that you find a story that has never been told. And this is the case with this. It's a great story about justice, which we know, is important to everybody. It's a universal quest. Personal justice, justice in a court of law. And there's a big twist at the end of this movie because it also is about karmic justice. So I found it to be a fascinating story from the very beginning. I knew nothing about it. And now I know something about it, and I want everybody else to find out.
That's amazing. I know that it's still in the festival circuit and it's about to release. And I have a tendency, and my friends say, don't ask too many questions. Just wait until your movie comes out so that you don't spoil it. So I am so excited. You talked about the personal justice, the criminal justice, and the karmic justice. So tell us, you've done a lot of the movies and productions. Is this the first movie that you have done that's related to the criminal justice system victimization? And if not, what are the other movies and what brought you to really? You talked about George Colbert. What inspired you to make this movie?
Well, I've been always, very curious about crime stories. That's always been, something that I've always watched throughout the years. Um, I, um, yeah, without giving anything away, it's definitely a quest to go after her assailant. Um, and I mean, I think people are going to find it riveting. No, I've never directed anything like this. I did, however, do a movie called The Runner, that is about the victimization of children. One of the themes that always, you know, wanted me to tell stories about it is how our kids fall through the cracks. And having a couple of kids myself, and and caring about all of the kids. I've always liked the idea of all my sons. That our kids sometimes are so often not protected when the grown-ups fail them. So that victimization, those themes have always spoken to me, and I've always wanted to tell stories about that.
It's very sad that you would think like we want our world to be free of abuse, free of victimization for our children. Unfortunately, in the field and the theme of our show really kind of is the voice for the survivors and advocates and the storytellers like yourself who tells the story and who educate people on different levels and from the multidisciplinary collaborations to help victimization from to avoid victimization from child abuse, child sex trafficking, human trafficking, domestic abuse, and sexual assault. Particularly when you mentioned that you have two boys and you had the sons at large, and all of this. This is really sad that our children have to go through that. I really commend you for what you have done, with the runner as well as the Miranda victim, and I hope that you will make more movies like that without even, I'm anxious to see this movie, and I can't wait for that. I wanted to talk about in the media world and the criminal justice system. I read a book about the media and the crime and how the media can change, the viewers view, like what we call the CSI effect, how it influences the audience. When in this case it can be the juries, they will say, okay, this is what it looks like in the forensic world in the movie, so we want this to, sort of, this is the standard, this is the bar, while in reality it's not the same. So what is your view of, like, utilizing the media as a tool to tell the story and to convey the message for criminal justice, for justice for all?
Well, if the media relates the story in an accurate way, then I think that it serves a very good, objective. If the media distorts it, as often it does, then it's not helpful. I mean, I think that very clearly we all know that at times we have problems with media and, relaying information, and you have to take something always with a grain of salt. You have to wonder if it's true or not, and if it's true, what aspects of it are true. And so it's hard. You have to read in between the lines. I remember thinking COVID was going to be a big problem before, we said it was a big problem before the lockdown. And I remember listening to the news and really trying to listen in between the lines of what was happening. So I think you have to, try to be smart in that way.
That's so true. I remember I have to eventually, I say, that's it. I'm gonna start watching whatever channel that is talking about COVID, because I'm like freaking myself out just watching that. And it's better off just, accept the reality and see what's happening around us than what is being reported. That some of the information that we cannot really like verify, like you said, take it with the grain of salt. And that being said, it is, my understanding, and without watching the movie yet, the Miranda's victim is based on a true story. So that is what the movie is about, correct?
Yes, it's based on an absolute true story. Absolutely. Yes.
That's wonderful. And I know this movie is still like on the circuit yet, but do you have any other plans about, what is your next movie, or any other plans in terms of the justice system or victimization?
Um, yes, I mean, I have a couple of movies in the works. Um, I don't know if they're about victimization, but I think that probably there's always going to be some of that in every story. Um, but I have a couple of comedies that I'm signed up to direct, and one big science fiction thriller, which I'm really psyched about. Um, and so, I'm constantly, my eyes and ears are constantly open to hearing powerful stories that deserve to be told.
Absolutely, absolutely. In the room, as I mentioned, I work for victims and advocate for them. There are like so many stories. So if someone wants to reach out to you, say, hey, I have a story, and a lived experience from whether it's domestic violence, human trafficking, or sexual assault, and whether they're a child victim and adult survivor, or they're adult victim and a survivor now, uh, would you be interested? How can they reach out to you to share their story with you?
Um, Yes, well, I'm very reachable. I think my email is an IMDb, and they can reach out. I mean, depending on what it is, I may sign or they may sign an NDA. But yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in hearing powerful stories. Absolutely.
That's great. I think, she is so powerful with her skills to help us really like, make the impact of the story that she is doing. I really love that what you're doing with the Word Fest, and I'm so sorry I missed you again. How did you like Houston? Was that the first time you've been to Houston?
I was in Houston before, but ages ago, many ages ago. I loved Houston. We were very well received at the festival. Everybody was lovely. It was just a great community, very supportive. And the day after, I took my kids to the Space Center when we went to see, when it happened in 1969, the room, it was just the most incredible thing because one of the projects that I'm going to direct is called Helios. It's a science fiction, space movie. And so I'm doing my research. And so I was really happy to be in Houston and be able to go to the Space Center.
That's wonderful. Yeah, Houston is more like business city, so it doesn't have that many like touristic scene. But if you pick one place to go, the Space Center is definitely the place to go. I'm so glad you were able to find your schedule because I know you've been so busy, especially when it comes to the film festival. You were able to go there, come here and visit. And I know the weather is very different from LA. And I actually used to live in California myself, and I almost forgot like how the range it's like between the 50s and 80s. It doesn't go lower than that and doesn't go above that. What did you feel about the weather?
The weather was fine, but it was a little windy, I have to say, where we were staying. But when you think of Houston, you always think of the weather being hot. And so, of course, we came there in a month when it was not hot. So it was great. No, I have wonderful memories of this weekend that we came to your beautiful city.
Thank you. We really welcome you and hope that you can visit again. Yes, as we always tell people, Houston has two seasons, three quarters of summer and one quarter of winter. And this winter has been really cold. That's probably what sort of affected when you were here. It was still like got a little bit of a cold front, but if you come now, it's like 80, 90 degrees outside. It's so lovely to have you here. Do you have any like future plans to come back to Houston and attend any events that our viewers and your fans can find you at?
Well, anytime I can come back to the World Fest Houston, I'm back there. The people that run it are lovely, Kathleen and her daughter and everybody else that were volunteers and helped us in the festival. We just had a wonderful time there. So yeah, I think that that's a great festival for Houston.
Absolutely. Yeah, we hope that you'll be here again and we'll be able to link your IMDb there and hopefully your fans can follow you there and all the good things. So before we let you go, is there any message or anything you would like to leave with our audience?
Well, thank you for listening. If you're tuning in and listening, and yes, watch the movies, rent The Runner, rent Bad Impulse, and when Miranda's Victim comes out, I hope you see it.
Wonderful. I definitely will go see it myself. Now with the runner, and where can I see it now? Is it
Uh,
still on or is it on
no, it's
video
on.
or
Yes, it's on Amazon, and it's in a lot of different places. You just it's called The Runner and Bad Impulse. And I have another movie, Hello Herman, with Norman Reedus that I did. All those movies, if you Google them, you can find them online.
that's excellent. Thank you again, Michelle, for what you do and this great movie. Like I said, I can't wait to watch it again. And I hope that you'll make it back to the Word Fest again. And I promise I wouldn't miss you. And I love to meet you in person again. But thank you again for being a guest on the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Take care.